So it's interesting, yesterday, I was hooking up my television because I'm leaving cable, and I'm going to streaming. And so I hooked it up, and I now get Access TV, which means I get a lot of rock stuff. And I love that, so I put on Tom Petty. And I was listening to Tom Petty in concert, and how great it is that we had some Tom Petty this morning. And the thing that came to me about that is Tom Petty passed not long ago. He passed at a young age, didn't he? Really could have lived a lot longer. The question is, he made some incredible music. Absolutely incredible music. That's his legacy. You hear that song, you go right into the energy that is Tom Petty. The question that I started to ask myself is, what's my legacy? What am I leaving in the world that after I leave, people will be excited to, they'll resonate with me, they'll resonate with what I did, what I brought to the world. What is it that I can do? And isn't that the question we should all be asking ourselves? What is it that I can do that's unique to me, that is burning within me to do, that is my joy, that is my thing, so that when I leave the world, I have touched the world, I've impressed upon the world my imprint. And because of that imprint, the world is lifted to a higher level of consciousness. So I'm going into talk number 2 on a new design for living. And the talk today is about new thoughts for old. So it's really important you understand new thoughts for old. Because as long as we keep the old thoughts going, we keep that old consciousness going, we're going to have the old experience over and over and over again. And many people are scared to think new thoughts. I can't believe it, but it was really interesting. I was on a radio show yesterday morning at 6 a.m., and it was a Lee Belding show. When I get the link about the podcast, I'll send it out. And it was really fun to go on AM radio and talk with Leah, and she never heard anything that I've been talking about. Everything you hear every Sunday here, a majority of the people on the planet don't know nothing about. Do you get that? They don't understand the concept of self-love. They don't understand that you change your thinking, you change your life. They don't understand that belief are your thoughts, words, actions, and feelings aligned toward a specific result, held persistently and consistently, and that creates a mental atmosphere, and that atmosphere either attracts to you or repels from you. They don't understand that. And yet, we've been taught that over and over again in the United States as a Christian nation, because we're quoting Jesus all the time, and he says, "It is done unto you as you believe." But we don't take that simple 8-word statement, and we don't break it down and say, how can we take it and make it more practical, and how can we use it in our lives? So when you break down the statement, "It is done unto you as you believe," it means that your beliefs create your life. And all you have to do is change your beliefs. And when you change your beliefs, your life changes. How simple. Do you get it? How simple. It's not complex. If you came here looking for a complex answer, you came to the wrong place. Because it's not complex. We, in our ego mind, in our analytical mind, in our rationality, we've made things complex, and that complexity has held us back from achieving what we want to achieve. Here's the key. If you want to swim, you got to get in the water. That's complex, isn't it? But before you can swim, you got to get in the water. So if you want to create your life, you've got to step into consciousness. Understanding that consciousness that you step into responds to your mental nature. It's always responding to your nature, and we'll go into that now. Ernest Holmes says, back of everything in life, back of everything in our world, is an unseen cause. Oops. So what he's saying is there's an unseen cause. What is cause? Thought. Cause is a frequency. It's an energy that we create. See, we look at the physical body and we think it's a solid thing. It's a firm thing. We put clothes on it. We model clothes on our bodies, and we put it out there, and people say, this is who this person is. It's not. That's just a figurine, a demonstration, something. What is the energetic that you are is what people feel. All of the thoughts, words that you've ever spoken, unconscious and unconscious, creates an energy field, and what you're seeing is, you may see my physical body, my physical presence right here, but the essence of who I am is what you feel. And what you feel will tell you what type of relationship we have. Do you get that? So like a couple over there, they're married. They think they married because they're both good looking. But that wasn't the reason they were married, because I'm going to tell you, I dated a lot of good looking women when I was younger. I didn't marry them. Why? There wasn't an energetic match. The energy that I am and the energetic that they were did not come together. They could not. They were conflicting. They weren't like enough. So what we do is we don't find the exact person who is like us that we fit in just perfectly. We find someone who we blend with a bit, because there's no perfect match, but because of the blending, we can decide whether or not we want to have a relationship of supporting and growing each other. Because that's the only reason we're in a relationship, is to support and grow each other. And when you find that, then you can discern how long do you want to keep the relationship, and in what capacity do you want to keep the relationship. The one mind is always creative, directive. The one mind, the infinite mind that we call God's mind, that's the same mind that's our mind that we're actually using, it's creative. Its job is to create new. Its job is not to hold on to the old. It's about to create new. The mind gets bored. The infinite mind gets bored. It doesn't want to keep the same thing over and over again. It wants to create new. Why? Because it can. Think about that. If you can create new all the time, why would you want to stay in the past? That's a good question, isn't it? So that's our nature, because we're infinite expressions of that one mind. We're individualized. We're microcosms of the macrocosm. So the traits of the one mind are the same traits that are in us. And so our desire is to create. So when we're bored, it's because we're not creating. It's when we're not thinking about creating. It's when we're stuck in the muck of the moment. That's a good one, isn't it? Stuck in the muck of the moment. Anyone ever get into the muck of the moment? Yeah, we all have. And we start going down the pattern of bringing in the past, bringing in the past, bringing in the past. And when we keep bringing in the past, we realize that we're building a bigger and bigger weight that's going to hold us where we are. When we release the past, we become more light, and we're able to move, and we're able to experience life differently. But as long as we keep reaching to the past and bringing it forward into our life today, it's not going to serve us. Our minds being a part of the mind of God then would have to be creative. See, if we're a macrocosm of the microcosm, God is infinite. It's not a man, it's not a woman, it's an it. It's everything. It's the seen, the unseen, the known, the unknown, that which creates out of itself, constantly recreating. That's all it does. Well, it created each of us, each person in the world, everything in the world, it created out of itself. So if it created out of itself, the material that it created us out of must be God's stuff, so it's perfect. Therefore, we're using the exact mind that is God, so that mind is perfect. So the stuff we're created of is perfect. The mind we're using is perfect, and yet we think we're not enough. It's not interesting. We think we're not enough. But a baby doesn't know that, does it? That's what I got being with my granddaughter a week or so ago. The baby only knows it's perfect, other than it needs to be burped, fed, sleep, and poop. That's what babies need. And the most important one is poop. Because if a baby doesn't poop, their whole world gets mucked up. And when their world gets mucked up, your world gets mucked up. I could really take that someplace real neat. Anyway. Oh, let me go there. That's like being physically constipated, isn't it? So when we're stuck and we're bored, are we not constipated in the mind? And isn't life all about an energetic circle that's always flowing? So if our mind is not flowing with new thoughts, it's constipated. It's stuck in the past. Being stuck in the past is a constipation, right? And what do? You need a spiritual enema. And for some people, it gets really messy because they don't want to let go. They're fighting it, and you can't fight when God's given you the spiritual enema. That's bad. And this is going all over the world. So, holy garbanzo bean, Sherlock. Our purpose in life then is to discover our real self, to know that we're one with the infinite. To know that we're one with the infinite and the power that's there. So we're discovering that, and we're discovering that which is back of us, that which is back of what we appear to be, and then to consciously create. So we've got to understand that beneath us, behind us, is this power that's not really behind us, it is us. And once we discover that power, then we got to say, now I can use that power. How am I going to use it? That's where most people falter right there. They don't know what they want. They don't know what to do. And here's the thing, no one can know that except you. I have people come up to me all the time in class, Lee, tell me what my purpose is. Ain't got a clue. Because the only person I can discern for is myself. The only person that can discern for you is yourself. That's why personal responsibility comes into play in everything that we teach here at Agape. You have to discern, how do you want to be in the world? How do you want to be as a family person? How do you want to be as a spouse? How do you want to be as a father, a mother, a child? How do you want to be as a business person? How do you want to be as a financial steward of your money? How do you want to be with your physical body? You have to look at all of these things, and then you have to make a conscious choice. This is how I want to be in the world. This is the dance I want to do. So I know I have this hidden power that's not hidden because I'm now aware of it. I'm going to use that hidden power to create that which I choose to be. Whoa. Now, once you make that choice, then the thing you've got to work on is blocking out all of the distraction. And the distraction will come from those people sometimes that are closest to you, your mother and father. My mother said to me, who do you think you are that you can be a spiritual teacher and advise others? She said that to me. My father says, I don't get this crap you're doing. Why don't you just go back to being a Catholic? Okay, now I have a dream. That's not my dream, is it? My dream is to be a teacher of truth, a teacher of love. My new affirmation is, my universal message of love is received and appreciated by millions. That happened last week. That's when I came up with that. Because this is not a message of religion. This is a message of love. And I think what the world wants more now is becoming, with all the contrast, it's about love. It's really, that's what we're seeking. We're seeking to find a way. How can we be at peace? And when we're at peace, we're in love, because love doesn't judge. And all discord comes from judgment. Do you get that? All discord, all anxiety, all fear, everything comes from judgment. If you stop the judgment and you go to love, all that crap disappears. Again, we're back to the bowels. Our own mind and thoughts are the only things we have to work with. Without them, without intelligence or the ability to think, we would be unable to do anything. We would have no conscious existence. We would be a rock. Our only power is our ability to think. Our only power is to direct our thought. Our only power is to hold our thought. Our only power is to create a new image through our thought. Our only power is to embrace the new image with our thought. Our only power is to act from the new image of our thought. Our only power is to feel from the image of our thought. That's where everything starts. Everything comes from how we look at things, how we perceive it. And when we do that, and we consciously do that, we become empowered creators that nothing can stop. Nothing can stop except if we allow it. Did you get that? When we allow it, we get stopped. So we may say, well, I got this mother over here, and she's doing this stuff, and it just stops me from doing it. And I said, well, who chose to let your mother be such an influence? You did. You chose to make your mother be that power. No one else. No one can take away your power except you, and you give it away to someone else's opinion. The question I ask is, why would you give your power over to someone else? It's a really good question, isn't it? Why would you care what anyone else thinks when you're living to your highest calling, when you're living to your highest vision? Why would you care? Because you were taught that. Don Miguel Ruiz would say you were domesticated. That was part of the domestication process of the human race. You bought into the fact that if you don't please your mother, you're not being a good daughter or a good son. That has nothing to do with being a good daughter. You weren't born to be good. You were born to be you. Can you get that? We got to stop. See where good and bad come in? We're back into judgment, aren't we, again? You weren't here to do that. You were born to be the uniqueness of you. What is that uniqueness? When I look at you, there's no two people in this room that look alike. None of you are dressing alike, thank God. Someday you may all come in with the same t-shirts. That would scare me. Because you're born to be unique. You're born to be different. It's only logical then to assume that the degree of our creativity is determined by our awareness of this universal law by which everything operates. A question I was asked on the radio show yesterday was this: what happens to an atheist? And I said, well, it's real simple. The atheist creates their life by their beliefs, just like a person whose consciousness do. Why? Because the law is always working. The law does not care who is using it. It just works. It works with every human being on the planet. What the predominant thought is of that individual is created. And it does so whether you're conscious of it or unconscious of it, whether you believe it or you don't believe it. And if you look at atheists, you'll find there are a lot of atheists who live a kind life, who live a wonderful life. And they're having those experiences. There are atheists who's very confrontative, that are battling against religion. What are they experiencing? They're experiencing battle and conflict, aren't they? Why? Because it's their belief. They have a belief that atheism must fight religion. Well, when you have a belief that you must fight, then you're going to be in a fight all your life. Do you get that? Wait a second. I have a belief that atheists and spirituality and religions can all interact and be harmonious. So for me, talking with an atheist, a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, a Hindu, a Buddhist, a Zionist, doesn't matter. Because everyone is an expression of God, and the same law that is responding to me is responding to everyone else. When you understand that, you can let go of the barriers that we've created artificially within our own minds. And see, when we break down those barriers, we actually set ourselves free. We get to be in our power and use our power. So this whole idea, well, what religion are you? Someone will say, well, only a Christian's prayer is answered. Well, wait a second. I've seen a Jewish person's prayer answered. I've seen a Hindu's prayers answered. I've seen a Muslim's prayer answered. Why is that? Because they believe in the prayer. Do you see, that's the key word. The B word, the believe word, is the key word to the demonstration in everything in life. What do you believe? And you want to know what you believe? Look at your life. If you believe you don't have enough time, you don't have enough time. If you don't believe you have a life purpose, you don't have a life purpose. If you don't believe you have a good relationship with your partner, you don't have a good relationship with your partner. It's that simple. If you believe that as you get old, you've got to be decrepit, walk around like this and that, and you got to have a big belly and you got to do all this, you'll have that. I certainly don't want those beliefs in my life. I have a belief that my life, to the moment that I die, I will have this energy and I'll be expressing myself creatively as long as I'm in my physical body. And I will do whatever it takes based on my belief to maintain my physical, mental, and emotional awareness to live my life vision. What inspires you is the question you need to ask. What really inspires you to take control back from your life? To stop giving it away to your boss at work? To stop giving it away to mama and daddy? To stop giving it away to the politicians? The government wants you to believe that you need the government. The government works for you. You don't work for the government. Get that habit in your mind. The politicians are not in control of you. You control whether or not they represent you. It's time we take our power back. I don't have a political view one way or the other, but I'm saying be conscious of who you are and then use your power to decide for what you want and step into what you want and accept your power and use your power all the time. Learning about the world we live in is just another way of learning about the unseen or spiritual cause in our life and the way it works. So as we watch life, as we watch the world, we get example over and over again about how this unseen power is creating. The more we consciously observe it, the more we believe it. The more we believe it, the more consciously we'll choose to use it. And the more we use it, the more we demonstrate it, the more we believe it, and the power gets bigger and bigger in us. And then what happens as it gets bigger and bigger with us, our desires get bigger, our challenges get bigger, and we have to raise our belief higher so we don't ever get to the full belief. We're constantly building our belief throughout our entire life. I believe we'll be doing this and building our belief for eternity. Because I believe that we're eternal. And I believe that the essence of who we are lives for eternity. So I don't believe we get to a place where we experience a harp and we sit naked on a cloud and we smile at the clouds going by us. I don't believe we do that. I believe that however we come back and our consciousness keeps expanding. But because consciousness and awareness is infinite, we don't get there. We're always on the journey, so we've got to embrace the idea that while we have this creative power, we're using it on a journey. It's the journey of the first date. It's the journey of the second date. It's the journey of the third date. It's the journey of getting married. It's the journey of a month of being married. It's the journey of having a child. It's always a journey. It's not an end result. The end result doesn't mean anything. It's the journey toward that end that is what gives you the juice, that gives you the life, that people want to be around you because you're on a journey. Do you get that? When you're on a journey and you're juiced from inside, people want to be with you. Because you're tapped into creative energy and people want to be around people who are tapped into creative energy. It's as simple as that. If you think about the people that juice you in your life, they're tapped into creative energy and you can't get enough of them. Well, a lot of times we talk about the idea of possibly an energy vampire. I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that at all, because if I'm tapped into infinite power and infinite source and I'm living my thing, you can come and try to suck up all you want from me, but I'm not going to give you a lot of time. Because why? Because I want to use my creative power. And if you're trying to drag me down, that's holding me back from using my creative power. And what do? I naturally, in a loving and kind way, dismiss that person. And I go about my journey. Why? Because it's my journey. You see, we have the power to say yes to our journey. We have the power to say no to our journey. And we have the power to say yes who comes into our life, and we have the power to say no who comes into our life. Two of the best words in the world, yes and no. Both of them teach self-love, but you got to learn how to use those words. And you use those words in alignment with the idea that there's an infinite power and presence that is responding to the nature of your thought. You understand that you are a creative being. You understand that this is my vision, this is my passion, this is where I'm directing my life, and I'm going to make my decisions of yes and no based on my vision for my life. And when you live that life, you're in paradise. It's just that simple. Everything you need to know has been said here today. You got to let go of the old, and you got to create the new. The question is, where are you going to take your thought? What does new mean to you and not to anyone else? What does new mean to you? Let's pray.
I want to thank you for joining us today. I'm so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask that you go to our website, agapecsl.com. Once there, click on the donate button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. Or if you would like, text your gift by simply dialing 972-532-6976. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to you in the world. I would ask that if you like this message, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel under my name, Lee Wolak. Again, I want to thank you for joining me in the Agape community as we learn how to better self-love through conscious living.